They tell you the economy is booming. Stock markets are rising. Unemployment is low. Governments proudly announce record-breaking GDP growth. But behind the polished numbers, something far darker is happening. Because what if that growth isn't real? What if the world's most powerful economies are not creating wealth, they're recreating debt and calling it prosperity? Today, we'll uncover how modern governments turn debt into a disguise for growth and why the entire global financial system now depends on this illusion to survive. Let's go back to a time when growth meant something tangible. Factories produced goods, farmers harvested crops, workers earned wages that represented real value. Money was tied to something solid: gold, resources, productivity. But then came a shift, a quiet financial revolution that changed everything. In the early 20th century, governments realized something powerful. As long as people believed in money, it didn't have to be backed by anything real. It just needed to exist. Debt could become the new engine of growth. The birth of central banking, fractional reserve systems, and fiat currency transformed how economies functioned. No longer did nations need to produce value to expand. They could simply borrow it into existence. And that's when the game began. It started small. During wars, governments printed money to fund the impossible costs of conflict. World War I saw the collapse of the gold standard in Europe. Currencies lost their backing, replaced with promises that more money would fix everything. Then came 1929, the Great Depression. Governments scrambled for solutions. Out of desperation, economists like John Maynard Keynes proposed that state spending, yes, even borrowed money, could stimulate growth. It was a seductive idea. Instead of waiting for recovery, governments could manufacture it through controlled debt. By the 1940s, this theory became global policy. And when the Bretton Woods Agreement in 1944 tied world currencies to the US dollar, and the dollar to gold, it looked like stability was back. But that illusion wouldn't last. Fast forward to 1971. President Richard Nixon did something historic. He ended the gold standard completely. Now money was no longer backed by gold. It was backed by nothing but confidence. Governments could print as much as they wanted. Debt was no longer a problem, it was policy. Central banks started manipulating interest rates, inflating money supply, and encouraging consumer borrowing. Politicians discovered that debt-fueled spending won elections, and so the line between growth and debt disappeared. GDP numbers went up, but not because nations produced more value. It was because they borrowed more money. This became the new definition of progress. If you can't grow naturally, just print. By the early 2000s, this model began to strain. Cheap credit flooded the system. Real estate prices soared. Banks packaged toxic loans and called them assets. Governments encouraged it all because it made GDP look good. Then came 2008. The global financial crisis exposed the illusion. Trillions in fake wealth vanished overnight. And how did governments respond? By doing the same thing that caused the collapse. They printed money, this time on an unprecedented scale. They called it quantitative easing. The US, Europe, Japan, everyone joined the printing spree. Markets recovered, but not the people. The rich got richer, while the middle class disappeared into debt. And yet again, headlines called it economic growth. The 2020 pandemic pushed this system to its breaking point. Global lockdowns froze production. Real economic activity stopped, but the money printer didn't. Governments created over $10 trillion in just months. Stock markets hit record highs, while businesses closed and unemployment soared. The disconnect was impossible to ignore. The economy wasn't growing, it was inflating. Today, global debt has surpassed $315 trillion. Over 3 times the total value of everything produced on Earth in a year. But the lie continues. Governments still call it growth. Central banks still promise stability. And people still believe it because to question it is to risk collapse. Now, with the rise of digital currencies and central bank control, the next phase of this illusion is unfolding. Money isn't just paper anymore, it's programmable. Every transaction, every stimulus check, every loan can be tracked, timed, and controlled. Debt is no longer just a financial instrument. It's a mechanism of compliance. When money can be created infinitely, those who create it own everything. And when governments can label debt as growth, citizens stop asking the only question that matters. What happens when the illusion ends? Takeaway 1. Debt-driven growth isn't prosperity, it's dependency disguised as success. Takeaway 2. Every printed dollar today borrows from the value of tomorrow. Takeaway 3. The system survives because people trust the illusion more than they question it. History has shown no empire, no currency, no illusion lasts forever. From Rome's denarius to Weimar's mark, every system built on limitless debt eventually implodes. So ask yourself, when governments print debt and call it growth, how long before reality catches up? If you found this breakdown valuable, hit subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden mechanics of global finance, because understanding money is the first step to real freedom.